All right, so today is Typeface Tuesday, and we came to you last week and we worked with two different fonts. I brought back my old girl Scarlet Signature. I've been using her ever since, just drips and drabs and pieces that I've been making. It's always that one font that you just put to the side, and then in my case, it's a year later. It might be a little bit more than a year that I have taken it out, and I was like, oh my God, I fell in love with her all over again. So, hi Lori from Arizona, Cleveland. Lynn doesn't like being cold either. I get it. So we are gonna work with today, and I know everybody had a lot of questions about it when we started this whole Typeface Tuesday, is Celtic. So we are gonna work with Celtic upper and lower, and we are gonna work with Melody upper and lower today. So I'm gonna start with both fonts. I'll go through them. I'll show you how you can mix them together just to accent them, or just work with them separately. They're both amazing fonts. Melody has always been my go-to for anything, whether it be a bracelet or a necklace. Celtic is what I go to when I'm working with a wider bracelet. Thank you, Karen. Unfortunately, I didn't get a haircut because we still can't get haircuts or dyes. I've been literally coloring in my grays and plucking them out. Today, it's straight today. So I decided to straighten it out. I have naturally wavy hair, but thank you. Yes, Carly, so these are two fonts. A lot of people have been curious about them, and Lynn, I'm glad that you have them both. Hi, Maureen. So, let's see. Yeah, Terry, I like the windows open too. It's always been my favorite. So, don't forget, I just want to make some different little announcements. So, you want to make sure to sign up for that Michael's class. That's going to take place on Thursday, and Jen will post that link for you in the comments. You also want to keep on tagging us in your Stamp It Forward, guys. Remember, this is not something that we could stop. Random acts of kindness don't stop, and we need that right now more than ever. So definitely hashtag us in the Stamp It Forward, at Stamp It Forward, or you can definitely send us a private message with a picture so you could show us, and then we'll repost it. Lisa, you love Melody? Jennifer, I meant a wider bracelet. Did I say water? I probably did say water. Wider bracelet. Hi, Sandy. Welcome. All right, so I'm going to take you guys over to the block, and we are going to have some fun, okay? Alicia booked it already. Melinda, you just bought Melody, so this is great for people who have either been on the fence about purchasing both of these fonts, or someone who has these fonts and you're just, not really getting a great impression, or it's not turning out the way you want it. Celtic is a wider font like Austin is. Austin was the exclusive font that only Michaels carries, and that is a very open font. It's got a lot of negative space inside there to fill in. So I'll go through all of that with you guys now. So perfect, Lynn. I'll take a look at it. I know Jen's so good. Jen looks at all those first thing in the morning. I'm yelling for my 10-year-old to get up to start homeschooling at 10 in the morning. So, all right. So you're trying, Alicia, for your jewelry. Okay, so I'll go through that. Celtic is a little bit of a wider font. Melody is a much thinner, smaller font. So I'm going to take you over, and we will go through all of that, guys. Let me turn you guys around. Let's see. All right. Pull my Celtic and my Melody uppercase. All right. Pull out some sticker guides. So the online class is going to be a key ring using washers on Thursday. So if anyone wants to join, that would be great. At the end, what I like about that Zoom class is at the end of the class, Jen and I will ask, and everyone will see Jen. I know you don't see Jen right now, but if you join the class, you'll be able to see Jen. Jen's going to be answering questions with me. And at the end of that class, it's a make-along. So even if you don't have the font that I'm using, you could still make something along. You could stamp something. And then we ask for you guys to turn your cameras on to show us what you're making. And I always love that. So, and then I get to see your faces. All right, so I'm going to use just a round Alchemy dust just for scrap. I'm going to go, yes, Mary, they are very tiny, Celebration. So this is the Uppercase Celtic, guys. This is a 3mm font. All right. So now this is not a signature set. This is not rated for stainless, okay? So let's pull out the Uppercase and I will show you. Jen, oh God, I think it's in the evening, I want to say. If you click on that link, Jen, Skinner, it will show you the time of that class. Well, I'm glad, Terry, that you got the washers for the class. Perfect. Okay, guys, so I am just going to, I always do the name Samantha because, you know, it's got a lot of different letters in it and it's nice and long, and I feel like, now, you notice that I tilt and tapped that font. Do we see all that negative space in there? Okay, that's the reason why I tilt and I tap my 3mm Celtic. Okay, because I want to get that nice and even, and I want that depth with this font. You definitely want that depth. All right. Well, Shelly, you need to take out your Celtic. Thank you, Terry. All right, so I'm going to, again, bring that down. Now, you're going to notice also, before I finish let me grab a pen. Before I finish my word, this is Uppercase. So even though I'm still using the space in between, these Uppercase, and Uppercase in general, are very wide. Okay, so your Juniper Uppercase is wide, your Celtic is wide, your Melody is not as wide. Okay, but you always want to give some room when you're working with your Uppercase. So in this, with this font, if you're doing all Uppercase, I would use every hash mark. Okay, so let's say I start in the center. Now I'm going to make sure the center of my A is on that black line. So I'm going to bring that down, lightly drag it, making sure, guys, and don't forget, I apologize for my hands. I've been working all morning, so they're a little dirty. They're not really dirty. They're just stained with marker and metal. So always take a marker and mark your center. There's nothing wrong with doing that, you know, and it's not going to damage your stamp. It's not going to damage your shank, but using that center to mark it will really help you when it's lining you up. Okay, Christine, we miss you too. So you're going to make sure that, let me bring this down a little bit, that you're flat. Line that up. Do we see how that black line is lined up with my black hash mark? Okay. And I'm going to, let me pull this back a little bit. I'm going to hit it once and then just tilt all four sides. And I'm not really over aggressively hitting it. All right. Wide these are. And again, these are Uppercase. So I'm going to continue. I'm I'm going to use my M, and my M is also wide. And I'm going to come in because I could see now that I don't have to go on the black. I have enough room here to line that up. And there is my M. And my A. Actually going to come back in with my M a little bit. My N. My T. My H. And my A. And, you know, like I said, when you get to learn your fonts, you know, you won't have to worry about your spacing so much because you'll know exactly where to put your letters. So I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to take my enamel marker, fill in those impressions. And like I said before, yes, Jennifer, Michael's, Joann's, and Hobby Lobby, they do carry a certain amount of fonts, a certain amount. In ImpressArt.com, we have all of the fonts, minus the exclusive that we have at Michael's and the exclusive that we have at Hobby Lobby. So if you're looking for a wider variety of fonts, I would definitely shop ImpressArt.com. So you notice that I left it on a little bit longer than I usually do, okay? And that's only because of all that negative space in these, you definitely want to let that ink dry a little bit. You know, what also looks nice with this is if you wanted more of an antiqued look, you could just give it a little bit more of a rub. And take some of the enamel out so it looks a little washed. Do you see that? Do you see that T and that N? The H, the lower part of the A. Sometimes I definitely, depending on the piece and what I'm designing, I definitely like that more washed look. Not so stark. Yes, Jennifer, I understand about instant gratification. I am horrible. I think my shopping carts are on all my favorites. My shopping carts are full. And no, I'm stamping on Alchemy. So the Celtic sets are not rated for stainless. I'm going to come back in. And is this... Look at that. All right, so I have two Celtic uppercases. Let's see if I have a lowercase. I am not sure if I have. Let's see. All right, my mistake. So I honestly don't have, well, that's a mistake and a half that I just made. I don't have the lowercase Celtic. I might have put my my top of my shell on an uppercase when I went and grabbed it to come home with it. So, but this is the lowercase, guys. Okay? Both still really nice, clean, crisp lines, but they're still thick. All right? And remember that your uppercase always has your design stamps in them, and your lowercase always has your punctuation. Yeah, see, that's what it is, Terry. That, you know, it's nicer to see, it's nicer to see them in, you know, in person and how they're stamped out. I agree. I agree. I agree. So I'll show you some of the design stamps. You know, these are also nice if you're doing single letters. Let's see. Let's pull out a B. Let's pull out. Yes, Shelly, it has a lowercase. Show you how the ampersand looks, you know, and it's different. It gives different looks to different pieces that you are designing. See that B and that P? I love that ampersand. Remember, I told you guys that I always have like certain letters and certain sets that I love, and the ampersand is definitely one of my favorites. Definitely one of my favorites with that. So, design stamps. I'm going to show you a little trick with a design stamp. So, I am going to use, we do have a mandala pattern, a Celtic mandala pattern, but I am going to use my design stamps in my font set to create a mandala really quick to show you guys how you could do it. Let's see, lighting off in here today. It's too sunny, it's too bright. All right, so we're just gonna roll like that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna come in from the center, and I'm going to use my love knot, my Celtic love knot, and I'm going to mark my center with that. And then I'm going to come in with the Celtic heart. And I'm going to follow all around, okay? But only where I have a break in the pattern of that knot. And remember, guys, you don't have to use your stamps. Move your stamps. Move your block. Come down. So then I have my hearts. Then I'm going to come in. Let's see. And you could always use your design stamps in your sets to make mandalas. You don't always need that mandala pack, the mandala, Celtic mandala pack. Yes, Gail, the hearts, stars, the happy faces, all the sets together make great, great mandala patterns. And then I'm going to come in. And now I'm going to move my stamp. I am going to just flip it around because I want to come in between my heart, my point of my heart. To get our mandala fix for the week. All right, so I have now my Celtic pattern all around, and then I'm going to come back in with my, let's see, I'm gonna come in with the cross right in between. And if you're just joining and you're wondering why I'm tilting and tapping, is because this is a 3mm font, but it's got a lot of negative space in between. And I just want to make sure I have a really nice, even, crisp impression. So I'm going to just pull this off. You've been missing Mandala Mondays? So this one's for you, Carly. So I'm going to pull my sticker off. Well, thank you, Diana. And sometimes you have a little bit of that remnants of that sticker guide. And you could either use you could use a toothpick. You could use a head pin. I'm just going to use very lightly my tweezers, my crystal tweezers. So I'm just going to pull that out. But you could see how I keep on building that pattern. So now I'm a perfectionist because I missed one. I'm going to come back in just so we could get the full effect of it. Okay, now I'm happy. All right. So you could just keep on building all around. We haven't forgotten about Mandala Mondays. We were thinking about Mandala Me Wednesdays, right? Me and Jen were talking on Friday about it. So, but I'll definitely bring in mandalas on any given day. So yeah, so this, guys, this is just a little exercise that you could pretty much use your design stamps as mandalas. I'm going to color that in. You know, and the two fonts that we're actually talking about today, even Melody Uppercase. Melody Uppercase has really good design stamps that you could do mandalas in that also, with those design stamps. So there we go. I think it looks great. Yes, Katie, these could be used on sterling silver. They're just not stainless rated. They're not rated for stainless. All right. So now we're gonna mix a little bit. We'll do a little disc. And we will mix the Celtic, and we're going to mix lowercase Melody. And I'll go into Melody after we're finished with this little project disc. So again, I'm going to come in. I'm just going to eyeball it today. And I'm going to start with love. Here's my L. There's my O. here is my V. And my E. And I will definitely tomorrow, I'll make sure that I get my hands on a Celtic lowercase tonight, guys. I apologize about that. And I will go over that real quick tomorrow in the live. So then I'm going to come in. So love. And I'm going to come in with my I. My lowercase I. And my S. And yes, I'll show you now, Anne. No problem. Right after I finish this, I will put another bottom, all right, to show you how you could put a hole in your blank. So then I'm going to use my L again. Flat. Alicia, I know that Jen had some really nice quotes that she put up. It's on a drop down. Jen, can you tell her where she could locate that on the ImpressArt page? Can you go over up? Thank you, Terry. Joanne's instant gratification is that she could pick up at it. That's funny, Joanne. Negative space. When I'm talking about negative space, do we see? I'll show you right now. I'll show you the difference. So okay. I will show you what I mean by negative space. Okay. So this is Melody. Do you see how Melody is really thin? Okay. And there's not much space in here. Do you see how thick this font is? That's what I mean by negative space. Okay. There's a lot of space where your enamel has to fill in. So yes, the combo is really pretty. So there we have that. And I know we had a question about hole punching. All right. So let's say I'm going to hang some of our semi-precious chips from the bottom of this pendant. Okay. I'm going to pull out some chips. If I could open my container. Okay. I'll pull out a couple of pretty colors, just a nice mix. Do a green. Do I have a amethyst? Yes, we have an amethyst. There we go. So I always mark, Celtic is 3 millimeter. It's just very wide, Carly. So if you're working with blanks with no holes in it, guys, I mean, it's personal preference. I don't like to put my hole in until after I'm finished with my design. Okay, so let's say I'm going to put a jump ring up top with this one. Yes, Tim Holtz has really good quotes. I have that book, actually. Gail. It's more of a bold font, so there's more space inside your impression to fill that enamel and that's why I'm hammering more. Okay, to get a nice and even, not so much a better impression, but a nice and even impression. Because sometimes when you don't do the tilt and tap with these fonts, you'll get it really heavy side of the V and not so heavy on the other side. So I'm going to put my jump ring on. Going to close my jump ring. Then I'm going to take my screw down hole punch. Okay, I'm going to pull this back just a tad bit. Whoops. And I am going to line my dots. Does everybody see that dot? Up. Just like that. So use my hole punch. Shelly, if you are looking, you'll have to definitely research a quote to know if it's copyrighted, guys. Jess, if you're selling your jewelry, you always want to make sure that you check that your quotes are not copyrighted, because if you're selling on Etsy, you could get in a lot of trouble for that. So here we go. So there's my hole. And then I'm just going to hang some charms off the bottom, some semi-precious chips. All right. And there we have it. Those are your holes. That's how you punch your holes. Okay? So definitely remember, guys, that your hand hole punch only works with 24 gauge. These blanks, your premium blanks, definitely need the screw down hole punch. Okay? And this is the back. So you see there's no puckering. We could have definitely cleaned this up a little bit. Anne-Marie, I've told everyone before, I've been doing it for a long time, but practice makes perfect. Yes, there will be, Jen. The problem with all of these, these questions like this, and me and Jen try to answer everyone, but then the Facebook Lives take like 2 hours. So we'll definitely, and we could cover questions that are more in depth in that business class that Jen and I have been talking about. So if that's something that you're interested in, guys, definitely make sure that you send your email to sales@ImpressArt.com and let them know that you're interested in one of our Zoom business classes. Or you can send a private message. And look who popped in, my beautiful friend, Jen Cushman. So Jen is another very talented artist who has taught me. She's the master of resin and mixed media, and I have learned from her a tremendous amount. So we will be going over ice resin and mixed media. We'll be going over mixed media with Jen, hopefully on a Facebook Live soon. And then I'll be doing an ice resin class for you guys, Facebook Live Q&A about that. So thank you, Jen, for joining us. All right. Yes, Jen, you definitely need these. I'm going to have to send you some. All right, guys. So now we are on to Melody, which is one of my favorites. And let's stamp some of that out. And let's start with, let's put a sticker guide down. And I'm going to show you. So now, Let me put this away so we have a little bit more room to work. All right. Yes, Lori, ice resin. We do carry ice resin, so we'll do a lesson on that. All right, so your lowercase, I'm going to pull you back a little bit. All right, your lowercase melody, and for all purposes, it is 3 millimeters. So like your highest mark, your B's, your D's, your F's, your G's, anything with a descender or an upstairs are 3 millimeter. Your A's, your C's, your E's, your I's are more of a 2.5. Okay, so definitely keep that in mind. So with that being said, I'm going to show you how to use the lowercase right now. And remember, your lowercase has all of your punctuation in it, which makes great things for mandalas also, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's do let's do Rebecca. So now you're going to notice that I am not tilting and tapping, nor am I really being heavy with this font. You want to be nice and light when you're working on a softer metal, and what I'm doing is Alchemy today because we all know how much my love for Alchemy. Okay, it's a tin-based alloy. It's very similar to pewter. It's soft. So you always want to make sure, guys, when you're working with any kind of font, I'm just going to stop for a second and explain this to you. So if you're working with an I, if you're working with an R, if you're working with an L, you want to make sure that you don't overhit these, because when you overhit them, I'm going to show you now. So I'm giving a medium, a large tap, light. So I'm just going to color that in, and I'm going to show you the difference. Hi, Noelle. When I say to learn your fonts, guys, other designers like when their fonts are nice and thick. I like nice and clean and crisp lines, so I tend to learning my metal, I tend to not overhit. Okay. So you get 4 different looks. Let me go back with how I kind of hit my eyes. So when I use Melody, I give it a nice and light tap, and this is why. Does everybody see those different eyes? So I gave it a hard hit, I gave it a medium hit, I gave it a soft hit, and I gave it a tap. Do you see the difference? That's why people always ask me, yours looks so much different than mine. I learned my font, and I learned how I like to use it. You might like how bold that looks. You might want, let's say you're mixing fonts, and you have that love is love. Where did I put that? Oh, God, it's lost in the abyss of my, oh, here we are. Okay. You might like a bolder eye. And Terry, I have to tell you, I have a heavy hand. I'm like a hurricane. But I learned how to use my stamp and the difference of hitting it. All right, so I am going to show you how I use my Melody set. See how light I'm tapping it? Because I like thin, crisp lines. Okay. Yes, Shay. The letter I, the L need much lighter taps. You know, you have to, when you learn your fonts, you'll learn to control how you hit your stamp. Okay, it's like the story of the A. The story of the A, that my A looks different from your A. They're the same A, I just turn it differently. So do you see how nice and thin that looks? Okay, and that's literally just a tap. Okay, if I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, yes, and you know, Kathy, this goes for both, you know, brass, and I'll do it on a brass to show you guys, brass and copper. You have to learn, you know, you have to be comfortable, and you have to learn your fonts, and you have to learn what pressure to use with it. So that was my medium. And you could see two, I think, very different looks. Do we see that? You know, very light tap, very medium. Same font, two different looks. All right. So then, let's see. Let me pull out a brass and a copper, and I could show you guys. Actually, I'll pull out a brass because I would have to leave my desk to look for my copper. So I'm going to pull out a brass. And she's a little oxidized, a little tarnished, but it's okay. Yes, Terry, totally different. So to overdo it, medium. Here we go, guys. So you could see harder, medium, lighter, tap. Okay? And make sure when you're using your brass and your copper, make sure that, Rosanna, I'll go over descending letters in a second for you. And if I skip over it, just pop another comment in there to remind me. You definitely want to press down on your stamp. Put a little pressure on your stamp so you know that you're secure against your metal. You could see how nice and clean and crisp. See, some people like that look. I like clean. Okay? So you could do, you know, and again, you definitely don't want to overhit your eyes. So it's basically, I went a little harder with the R. But it's all on basically, you know, the pressure that you're using with your hammer. And yes, Lori, don't be afraid. You have to practice. You have to practice. And remember, guys, this is not engraving. This is handmade. I mean, really, that's you know, the nature of it. It's hand done. It does not have to be perfect. Okay? Just practice, practice, practice. Ramona, you just need to sit down, relax, take a deep breath. If you mess up, you mess up. Take a disc, go through A to Z, A to Z, A to Z. All right, so now we're going back to Roseanne Zito. All right, Ro. This down, and let's do your descenders. Descending letters. Some people call them descenders, lowercase, you know, your L's are uppercase. I call them descending letters. All right. So I am going to... Yes, Rebecca, that's perfect. Perfect imperfections. I love it. And yes, I mess up too, guys. I make mistakes all the time. You know, it happens. You know, and if you're really having a hard time at your bench and you're messing up, take your texture hammer. Take your texture hammer, texture a disc. You're going to see that you'll feel completely different. You know, get away from doing your letters. Do a texture. Bang on some metal. You know, bang on some metal and then come back to your letters. And you'll see it'll clear your mind. It'll get some frustrations and aggravations out, you know, and then start your creative process. Yes, Carly, I'm going to do that next. Okay, but I'm just going to go over Roseanne's question. All right, so descending letters. And I know I've spoken about this before, but it's always good that we go over these because, you know, these are important. So I'm going to use your G. Yes. But that's Jen's, you know, that's the characteristic of Jen's work. Her work is, you know, wonky. I sat down with her and taught her how to stamp straight, but you know what? That's not Jen's personality. You know, she can stamp straight now, but her work, just that wonkiness of it not being so perfect and straight is what gives Jen's work its beauty. So remember, guys, yes, Ramona, so texture, get all your frustrations out on a scrap piece of metal and then begin. All right, so let's say I'm gonna do the word good, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that, see the bottom part of your stamp, okay, right here? You're gonna make sure we're not dragging down, guys. We're placing it right on that blue line, and we're hitting it. That is your descender. Okay? Super simple. All right? Super, super simple. You're going to make sure that the bottom of the circumference of that stamp that's facing you is hitting that blue line. Yes, you could stamp right through those sticker guides. Okay? Then I'm going to come in, and I'll just finish the word to show you guys. And with this font, because they are smaller, you really have to just learn your font and learn your stickers. Okay? So placing it, Jennifer. So I'm going to, let's do my G again here. All right, everybody see this? Let me pull it down a little bit more. Okay. You're going to place the bottom curve of your shank. Do we see this right down here? Okay. You're going to place it on the blue line. Do you guys see that? Yes, Lori, time to shop. Shop, shop, shop. Give it a hit. Look how nice. Whoop, we're a little blurry. Let me pull it back. I want to thank you guys for bearing with me. Definitely not good with technology or a camera person, but we're making it work. So see how that G is just leaning, resting up against that sticker? You can stamp through your stickers. So Jennifer, try it with me. All right. So then you're going to pull that off. And you'll see it leaves like two little holes in your sticker. And you're just going to pull your sticker with your fingernail right out. Do we see that? So now we're all going to be good at descenders, right? Just going to color that in. We're going to tap it. And I still have some sticker left in my belly of the G. There we go. And there is your good. Create Rita-isms. Oh, you are very welcome, Jennifer. All right, so for Carly now. Carly. So easy, right, Lori? So easy. Let's do another one, guys. Let's do, let's do the word page, because I know that it has two descending letters, okay? So we'll pull out your P. All right, you're going to bring that down. Make sure it is on that blue line. Give it a hit. With your A, you're going to place it flat, lightly drag it because it's not descending, right? And where is my G since I did not put it back? And then here is my G. Okay, place that down. I didn't go down far enough with that. And then here is my E. See, I make mistakes. It happens. I didn't go down far enough. But even with that, guys, you know, it's Melody and is a whimsical font. It sways. Hence why it's called Melody. Sort of like a tune, music. So it is very forgiving if you drop a letter or you're too high with something. Okay. So let's see. We have Alicia, one with a Y. So I'm running low on sticker guides, guys. So I'm just going to, and I promise you guys that once you get a hang of learning your stamps and learning your tools, you're not going to need these stickers. I don't use these stickers anymore, okay? So again, you're going to take that, go right down, give it a hit. Pull my sticker out there, and there is my Y. All right, now we're going to go to uppercase. Uppercase, uppercase. Do I have another big piece? Actually, we'll use tiny ones. We'll use a small one. All right. So I am going to just put this on the side for a second, and I'm going to talk about 3mm uppercase Melody. Okay? So all these design stamps, how pretty are these? And they're so nice and delicate. And you could use them in a mandala. Definitely. All right. The ampersand is definitely one of my favorites. The S in this set is one of my favorites. Like I told you guys that I have like certain letters that I love. So the S is definitely my favorite in this. The Q is my favorite. The A, the B, the J, the K, the ampersand, and all of these design stamps I love. I love. You know, it's so funny because I love this font so much that I have a chalkboard in my house. And my daughter is moving up from 5th grade. She's going into middle school. So I always put like little, you know, little messages for her. And I've stamped this font so much that I could actually use it as a handwriting. So I could close my eyes and just envision it and draw it. So it's actually, it's one of my favorites. All right, so let's do uppercase. Let's stick with the word love. So I'm just going to show you. Again, you want to make sure that the ImpressArt is facing you. I'm going to bring that down. Now with this uppercase, if you are using it and you only have the uppercase and you want to use it on jewelry or do a tag or, you know, anything that you're stamping, you could utilize the spaces in between. You know, I know that you noticed, and I'll go back to it because I'll mix the uppercase with the lowercase after I show you the uppercase, that the lowercase kind of is smaller, and your word is spread apart if you're going to utilize every space between the hash lines. But with this font, if you're doing all uppercase, yes, Maureen, this is sold at ImpressArt. Now you see that I'm just tapping it, okay? Because I'm working on soft metals and I like clean and crisp lines. Pull this down a little bit for you guys so you could see that. Look how nice that is. That just looks really pretty if you're doing names on a necklace, font, complete quote on a bracelet. Okay. So Carly, I will, since you asked, I'm not paying favoritism. We'll do Carly's name so you'll see what it looks like. So that is a full name. Okay, I'm going to color it in. But I'm going to also do the same name at the bottom, and I'm going to hit it a little bit harder. So, you know, you could see that you have a choice, guys, as to what your fonts look like. All right, let's color that in. Stamp that. Tape. There we go. Oh, I love when this happens. See, I only got half of my R impression. Do we see that? Because I'm going to show you how you could go back in. Okay? But this is different ways you could stamp it, guys. You can be a little bit more aggressive with it so they're bolder, or you can go a little lighter with your hit. Now, if you get a half impression, see that R there? Okay? You can always, and I suggest taping your blank down to your block when you're going to do this. Okay? I'm going to come back in with my R. I'm going to lightly feel where that impression is, okay? And it sinks right into it. And I know that I am light on the bottom right side. I'm just going to, let me pull this up so I could show you. I'm just going to lightly tap the end of where I'm missing. And there is my R. Okay? Come back in with some enamel. Lightly dab it. And there is my full R impression. There we go. All right? So definitely when you have half impression, if you have a steady hand, and you feel that you're not happy with the disc, if it's not a full impression and you're just going to try it on another disc, go for feeling, lining your stamp back up in there. Lightly move it over. If you lightly move it over, you'll fall right back in to the impression. Yes. Maureen, definitely you basically take a deep breath and literally just go lightly over it, okay? I always have better luck when I move my stamp from left to right to fall into the impression, okay? Or let's say you have it really thick, you have a deeper line up top, bring it down, and it falls right into that impression, okay? Does everybody see that? Right there. All right. So now I will do, for the last trick of the day, we'll do a name on the brass. Pull out another sticker guide. All right. And I'm going to use upper and lower. So I'm going to come in with my J. And then my E, my N, my N. And remember your eyes, guys, you don't want to really overhit your eyes. And remember, guys, if you're having problems, being mindful of how heavy to hit your stamps, always have a scrap piece next to you of the metal that you're working with. And, feel how heavy you are with those hits. So since we have so many Jennifers here, and we love our Jen, I did Jennifer. And this is how your uppercase looks with your lowercase. And I have dropped my paper towel. Let me grab that. I'm gonna lightly dab it and lightly wipe. And there we have it. With love for our lovely Jennifer, our Jen. All right, guys. Hi, Kimberly. Brass doesn't look as scary when you... No, Carly, it's not gonna damage your stamps. Okay? When you start off, I definitely think you should purchase your brass from us, so you know what you're purchasing. Guys, remember that there are a lot of different blanks on the market. A lot of them are plated. You know, a lot of them are sold. They have the same color packaging as ours. I'm telling you, it's important that when you're buying your blanks, you see that ImpressArt name. Okay? You see how I'm working on it? It's not so scary because this is jeweler's brass, guys. Okay? It's not plated. It's not a gold-plated disc with steel on the inside. When you don't know what your discs are made out of, you're going to run into problems. So definitely always make sure that it says ImpressArt because I could speak for our product. All right? So our copper and our brass, our jeweler's copper, they're jeweler's brass. They do tarnish. You can shine this up. Let me pull out we haven't used these in a while. Where did I put them? Pull a new one out. Yes, Jennifer, look, I'm gonna show you. So with the buffing block, guys, okay, you can take your tarnish off, all right? So you're going to use your super fine. I'll do one side of it so you could see the difference. Look at that, guys. And that's only from a couple of hits. You see how you can't really see me on this side of the disc, but you could see me on this side of the disc now? See how I wave to all of you? Definitely get this high polishing finishing block. Definitely, it's a must-have, especially if you have brass and copper. You know, we have them all. I have all of my blanks sitting in different containers, and I'll show you where I store my stuff. All right. Do we see this? All this prettiness. You know, sometimes, guys, they rub together. You know, if I leave it open for a long period of time, something else, you know, I will get that tarnish on it, but look how pretty that is. I love it. I'm going to polish the rest of this for you guys so you guys could see it. Look at that. Add to the cart, Lori. That's it. Add to the cart. How do you get scratches out of the Alchemy blanks? So let's work with the one that I'm working with here. All right. Hi, Christina. So I'm going to take my fine side first, and I'm going to hit it. Okay? Do you see that? And then I'm going to hit it with my super fine side. There you go. So you could see how it takes those surface scratches right out. All right. There we go. Well, then when you say scratches, are they surface scratches? You know, in metals, guys, you're always going to have surface scratches. Always. You know, even if you put a piece of 14 karat gold, even, you know, like I have this exact bracelet. This is in sterling, but I have these in a 14 karat gold that I got from my mom. Even if you put that under a microscope, you know, you're going to see scratches. It's metal, scratches easily. All right, but for the most part, it will buff out the little tiny imperfections in there, okay? So you see this side? It'll buff that out. Magic eraser, Ramona, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm gonna swing you beautiful creatives around and not trip over my own feet today. So Thank you so much for joining Jen and I today. They look like surface scratches. So that that high polishing block will take those surface scratches out for you. All right, Lynn? So, Lori, the second letter set that I used was Melody. Okay, so Melody was the pink box, and Celtic came in that like orange cheese color, I think. Looks like cheese to me. Looks a little like cheese. Unfortunately, I did not have Celtic lowercase. I thought I did. I must have placed my uppercase case, the top of it, on my lowercase on my uppercase. So I will show you tomorrow, really quick, what that lowercase Celtic looks like. Lynn, if they are deeper, you're gonna have to take the sanding block to it first. You're gonna use the medium, not the coarse side. Well, that's great, Ramona, and you'll learn all new things. Every time I teach a class, I go over something different or something else comes out, so you're very welcome, Lori. So remember, so Celtic, upper, lower, 3mm, Melody, 3mm also. Well, thank you, Terry, for tuning in, and Jen and I appreciate you guys tuning in on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 1 o'clock. Okay, yes, we're doing 1 o'clock. This is our summer hours right now. All right. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, definitely pop in and come hang out with us tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and I will try to get to all of your questions. If not, you could always email at sales@impressart.com. And I will see you wonderful creatives tomorrow. Have a nice day, guys.